And looks like we are now live on Facebook, guys. So we are here for week 94. So Becker Vineyards family and friends, and really enjoy being able to share this with everybody, and amazing wines, amazing fellowship and friends here. So I'd love to say with week 94, we have the Canada Family Cabs that we're tasting through today. We have the 2016, 2015, and 2014 Canada Family Cabernet Sauvignon Reserve. And tonight, I just want to introduce everybody in the panel. So we have our owner, Dr. Richard Becker, which I'm glad to have him on and enjoy sharing these wines with him every week. And then we have some special guests with us tonight. The growers for these grapes for this wonderful, amazing wine that we're tasting tonight. So we have Brenda and Dwayne Canada with us on tonight. And then myself, Bobby Todd, e-commerce and logistics director here. So love to enjoy these wines. I believe we're going to go with the 2016, 2015, and 2014 in that order. But before we taste, I just want to go ahead and have Dr. Becker share some lovely words and kick this off with tasting some amazing wines tonight.
Thank you, Bobby. And 95 weeks, we began this 95 weeks ago, trying to emulate a little bit what's done in New York when people are trying to have some relief from the pandemic and go out on their balconies and say nice things to one another and play music. And so this is a little bit of what we're doing. So a little bit of escape from this terrible thing. But always to remember the people in the front lines and for whom this is not over. Although I think there's a light at the end of the tunnel. We just need to get there, and we need to do everything we can to protect ourselves from this and get away from it. But to thank all the people in the front lines. Joe always mentions the teachers, and of course Joe and I, all the people in the medical world that have been fighting this battle for 95 weeks. Just amazing. So to the bright side is a chance to have to taste this wonderful lineup of Cabernet from West Texas and grown by the Canada's Brenda and Dwayne. It's just been an exceptional experience knowing them and working with them and getting to talk to them. And it's just, it's great. From somebody from Abilene, this was just couldn't have been better. So you could have been my neighbors in Abilene for sure when I was growing up. But anyway, I know my sister's probably watching, and my brother, and I know they feel the same way. So anyway, welcome. And Bobby, let's talk about this.
Yes. So got an amazing wine to start off with, which I believe these have won some wonderful awards on these. Looks like we had, what was it? This one was silver medal in 2018 San Francisco International Wine Competition and the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo for 2019. So amazing wine, beautiful stuff. What can y'all tell me about the harvest conditions, or the 2016, how that looked for y'all?
Well, that was the year we had what I call the refrigerator mode. We did a lot of oxidating. I remember that year we did just lots of oxidating because to get the grapes to ripen.
Well, they were the grapes were getting ready, and the bricks were up around 22 point something on the bricks, and all of a sudden we started getting rain, and it rained for like a week, and everything went backwards from there on. 2016 was the latest harvest we've ever harvested. In fact, we harvested our Malbec in October, and we've never harvested grapes that late before. And
wow.
Everything ran 2 to 3 weeks late in 16.
Wow.
But so in order to preserve the grapes, we put a lot of oxidate 2.0 on it there at the end to keep the grape clusters from getting boytitis And so me and my tractor, we were the most sterile things in Yoakum County.
So do you
We
all-
harvested this, on September the 23rd. And let's see, we had, I was looking to here to see how many tons we had, 53.7 tons that year.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow. So is that kind of
Now,
average,
that was-
Joel, or is that a little low on the low side?
That's about average.
Yeah, that's average for us.
Nice.
That year was so funny because you would have the rain and all the moisture, but you'd put your hand inside the vine and it was like it was the refrigerator in there because it was really cool inside.
uh-huh.
And then that's why I called it the refrigerator time, because you could just put your hand in there. It was like cool, like the refrigerator was inside. So
That's the definition of evaporative cooling, right? I mean, it was very.
yeah, it was, and
It's real.
you know, you were trying to get the grapes to a certain bricks, and that was hard to do. I've never had so much trouble getting them to where we needed them to be. So
Wow. So in that instance, would you have to back off on the irrigation?
No, I mean, we didn't irrigate, it just rained.
it was raining. That was the problem. And it was cool, you know, it was cool outside. Plus it was cooler inside where the grapes were, inside the vines when you put them inside.
The one good thing about it is between our vines, we leave the native grass, and we felt like that helped absorb some of the moisture that we would have had if that took some of the moisture away that we would have had otherwise if we'd have just had it clean till.
Nice.
What is the native grass in your vineyard, Dwayne? Is it buffalo
There's
grass?
several. Buffalo
Uh-huh.
grass is one of them. If you ever want to know why it got its name, find one of the seed and it looks like a buffalo head. And
Uh-huh.
then we have another one called windmill grass that whenever it seeds out, it actually looks like windmill, sort of like the flower you asked me about out here last year that turned out to be the spectacle flower, which
That's right. Yeah. Well, now
because the seed pod looks
I think
the seed pod looks like spectacles. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No.
Go ahead.
Well, does the buffalo grass also fix the nitrogen in the soil? Does it have, to some
Not to my
extent?
knowledge.
Okay,
Not to my knowledge.
all right.
It's just got a lot of protein in it for the cattle, you know, even though it don't grow very tall, it really does make a good cover, and it's really high quality feed for cattle.
Right.
Wow. Wow.
It's always wonderful to see the Cabernet coming from your vineyard. When it arrives, the grapes are always so incredibly dark and beautiful. I don't think I've ever seen a year when that was not the case. And that's part of why this wine is so wonderful.
I think
But
so.
Bobby, tell us what you're smelling and tasting. And
So I opened this one up and let it kind of breathe a little bit. I mean, especially being, older vintages, so, tried to have it open and breathe. So I've had this open probably since about 4 o'clock, just to kind of, develop and give it a little bit of time. But definitely get the raspberry notes on the nose, some red currant, almost little black olive characteristic, dried rose petals. But the palette is just, it's a very, diverse, lots of layers to it.
It does have flavors.
what I love about one of the many things about this wine, but one is how kind of singular it is. This is not California. This is not Bordeaux. The flavors and the aromas are I really think from this place, and it's fun. I think I think the wine judges in San Francisco that give these wines such great reviews think the same thing. They must be thinking this is an unusual, unique reflection of one place, of the terroir and the water and the rattlesnakes and what.
It also makes better jelly than it does wine.
I'm not sure about that.
I am. I eat some every morning.
My goodness.
Have we not ever given you any jelly from here?
We need.
No,
to
but
get some.
I'll try it. I'd love to try it.
We'll get you a jar.
Well, since we're doing this live with Facebook and letting all of our guests see this, they might start asking for some Canada jelly, and then
I believe it.
yeah.
I may have a new product line for y'all.
I just make the jelly. I always hate to see the grapes go to waste, and so when Daniel gets through harvesting, I go through and find all the grapes that he didn't get, which is not very many, I'll tell you that, because if I can get 3 plastic sacks full of grapes, I feel lucky. But
You have to shut the machine off close to the end post, and there's always a few hanging on the end. So he
Right.
makes jelly out of them, but it's really good.
Oh, that's amazing. No, this is great. This is wonderful. We have some people saying that cheers to all, and they said Charles Gage said thank you to the Canadas for your wonderful grapes. So
oh, that's nice. It's always nice to hear what others are saying about your wine, and it always amazes me when people tell you, oh, this is really good.
I know.
I would like to thank those people for drinking our wine.
Yes,
too.
yes.
That's a key part
Me
of
too.
this.
Me too.
no,
This wine has also some unusual depth, I think, both in the nose and on the palate. That maybe some vanilla, maybe some cardamom, some unusual things. Again, just coming from the skins from the grapes out there. Wonderful taste. What do you like to pair with this
It
wine
really is good.
when you guys are cooking, when you're opening a bottle of wine? What goes well with your Cabernet?
Well, usually I just fix a steak is usually what I do.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes it's chicken fried steak. I mean, with round meat. So,
ooh,
but usually it's a steak. I usually just fix a steak with it.
nice.
I would like for people to understand the reason I'm not drinking wine tonight is I had a root canal yesterday and I'm not supposed to drink alcohol. So I'm shut down tonight, but I will smell.
He's good at the smelling.
It smells, I bet you may have heard me say this, but I'll never forget when I was first trying to learn about wine, and I always saw the French like this, and I said, that can't be necessary. Turns out it's everything in making wine.
Yeah.
And what you smell is what you taste if the wine is well made, and boy, John has definitely done that, and Rachel. So
They really have. So I'm almost getting like a hints of like dill, like
yeah.
Yeah, towards the end, a deal.
right? Yeah. Kind of almost a little bit of a toast, like a toasted caramel kind of a characteristic, just subtle in there. But we have Jet Wilmoth on and saying hi as well.
Oh no.
Jeter Mac.
Your neighbor saying hi.
Well, tell him hi back.
Right. Hey, Jet.
Jet is offering to you, Dwayne, the medical advice that wine fights infection.
Oh.
That's right.
And I don't know where Jet went to medical school. I'm sure he did, but I just don't know where.
So Barbara, we are actually tasting the 16 Canada Family Cab right now. We're gonna go in order from the youngest down to the oldest. And thank you, Barbara, for emailing about pairings tonight. I heard you have a wonderful party with some sliders with I guess it was
Yes,
pork.
that's good too. I forget about the sliders.
So great to see everybody on tonight.
Well, Bobby, let's go to 15 and we can come back and compare them back and forth.
Would love to. Yeah, that's exactly.
And Dwayne, Bird, did you all know that you're 18 or just won a gold medal in San Francisco? You're 18 cab. Is that right, Bobby, or was it 19?
Really?
There was the 18, yes, and we have
Yeah.
not.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
No, we didn't know that. That's good news.
That's good.
Oh, I'm really excited about it. Haven't tasted it yet.
We had it the other night, or we had it during Christmas, didn't we? You want to smell this?
Mhm.
Yeah, this one is phenomenal. This one got double gold, 18 San Francisco Chronicle International or San Francisco Chronicle Wine Competition.
Wow, I'd forgotten that.
This is the one that got the 4 double golds. So infamous year.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
yeah, it's always been one of my favorites. One thing that stands out on this 15 to us is it's the first year we had our own harvester. We had invested that year in a used harvester, and we also invested in a forklift and a ramp to get it up the truck. So we stepped out so we could do our own harvesting and get it more, whenever we needed to. Before then, we'd been always sharing with Neil Newsom. He was kind enough to come and harvest for us, and we'd go help him in return. But the year before, it had gotten into a rainy spell, and he'd come and spent time helping us. Then he got shut down a few days because of rain, and I felt bad about it. So we went ahead and got our own harvester. So it's nice to be able to harvest when they're ready.
That's great. So with your harvester, does it have a destemmer as well, or is it just gets the whole cluster?
No, our destemmers, we don't have a destemmer, but we usually put 4 women around each bin and picking the leaves and the sticks and things out as it comes in. So that helps a lot as far as the quality that we produce.
They work really hard back there when they're doing that. I mean, especially when you have a good crop. I mean, they don't even look up. You just keep going.
That's amazing. That's
And usually I'm back there with them and helping them too.
that's amazing.
And all these Cabernets are almost 100% cab. And John just can't, he just switches and has to put something, 1 or 2% of something in. But
Yeah.
and it probably makes it probably works. But these are all mostly Cabernet from your vineyard. All 3 of these, I know.
Yeah.
And
We got rain, didn't we, too?
This year in 15 we harvested September the 8th and had 68 bins.
right.
Wow.
Or
Was
2
that-
semis. So that was
Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
And it
Well,
tastes
I
good.
remember it just being nice. I just remember it being nice to load those bins up into the truck and get it out, and we could start when we wanted to, and it was just a nice year. We were on our own, and we could get it to you when you needed it or when you wanted it, and at the bricks you wanted. That's always important to us, is that we get everything to you on time and where y'all want it. so that you
Well,
can produce a good wine.
You know, John loves to say, and I think with great accuracy, that no one is a better judge of when the grapes are ready to be ripe to be harvested than you, the two of you. It's that I think that's just wonderful for me.
We work together on that. Dwayne's really pretty good at it too. He's gotten better over the years, and so every once in a while we have a disagreement, but you know.
I won't tell you who wins.
That just means you're a wise man, Dwayne, is what that means.
This is a real good wine.
So I've heard a story that John doesn't like to. He's very he's intimidated by you because there was one year I heard there was a hailstorm, I guess, around the New Mexico area, and he contacted you and wanted to know if you're worried about it. And you said, "Oh no, it's fine. It's going to be okay." And then was watching the radar and saw it kind of split and go around y'all, and end up, on the other side. So he's always like, Brenda, she's got a little bit of confidence.
We sent it over to Jet Wilmus.
Oh, that's great.
That's what he claimed. It just happened to go his way. He was blaming us for it.
Oh,
God does wonderful things every once in a while.
He
Well, he does it all the time, but I mean, I was very thankful that storm went around.
Right. No,
Gordy.
it's great to have the fruit here to make some amazing wine, which this one has so much depth to it. And so I'm really enjoying the nose on this. And as Dr. Becker had said about the French just keeping their nose in it. And my wife has even mentioned to me just how much I stick my nose and just am smelling it all the time. And it's so intoxicating. The aroma is just so, it's amazing. But definitely getting some plum characteristics.
I just love the way it tastes. It just has a good taste to it too.
Oh,
I mean, it just is smooth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, what do you think you're getting? You get a little bit of plum or some cherry notes, or?
Cherry, I do.
Yeah.
But for me, it's always, it has to taste like it does out in the vineyard when I'm tasting those grapes. Because when I'm taking bricks and I walk through the brick, the vineyard, and I'm constantly tasting, and as you put the grapes in, you're looking to see if the seeds are green or brown and what's going on with it. And then you look at the color of the juice. So those are things I look for when I'm taking those bricks while I'm out there.
I would ask you a lot of people that are really wonderful winemakers can taste the wine that's going to be there from just tasting the fruit. And when you and Dwayne, you've now had how many years? 15 or more years of growing grapes and then tasting the wine. Are you starting to be able to?
First harvest was 7.
Tell that, yes, I am. I'm getting better at it. I really am. I try to work at it, but I don't know. I just don't have the palate or the smell that Dwayne has. So I don't know if that's but I can tell when the grapes are ready out there, and to me that's the main part, because if they're ready, then you're going to make a great wine out of it. So
we're going to try.
Right.
So if I get it there, I feel like I've done my job.
Oh my goodness. So y'all have pretty rocky soil out there, right? I mean,
Yes,
Yeah.
it's real shallow. Where the Cabernet is, the topsoil is called Lee, L-E-A, Lee Loam, which comes from the name of Lee County, New Mexico, which is just west of us. But then it's a caliche base. In fact, there's so much rock or caliche rock there that we have to dig each hole with a rock bit digger, just like we were digging a post hole for a fence or a pole. And we dig a hole under each vines to give the roots something they can go through pretty easily to get established.
Amazing, amazing.
That's so
And one thing we do with our grapes, we also have spaced the rows 12 feet apart instead of 9 or 10 like a lot of people. We did that so we could utilize our regular farm equipment, not have to go buy a set of equipment for the farm.
Yeah.
And anyway, we've got plenty of land, so why bunch up the rows? But I think that helps too, because each vine has a little more area to pull its nutrients from.
That's awesome. So it's not pulling from each other.
Right.
You know, most of the great Cabernet vineyards in the world all have a calcareous subsoil like you have. And there's been a longstanding argument to make great Cabernet, the roots have to get into calcium. And I think that's here it is. Here's some evidence of that. This has such great structure, you know, both aromatic and taste. You feel like you're not just
It really
tasting
does.
all the fruit components, but there's a mid palate structure to the wine, which is really amazing.
Mm-hmm.
We use the French clone 337 on top for Chardonnay, and the rootstock is 1103P. And the reason we use the 1103P is it's supposed to be like caliche type soil like we have, and also it's got some nematode resistance to it.
You had 337 Cabernet. You said Chardonnay.
Yeah, I meant Cab instead of Chard. I'm sorry.
Sure.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree with the that mid palate. It's wonderful. And then it comes right back, you know,
It comes right back to you, doesn't it?
it does.
Yeah, it does.
The flavor is just phenomenal on this. Right now, it being it was cold for a little while, and then it got warm up into the today, and it's supposed to be freezing tomorrow.
Yeah.
But with this, I mean, I could definitely do like a nice stew with this, or in the summertime barbecue. I mean, this would go great with a barbecue.
Yeah, barbecue ribs.
Yes, ma'am.
It would be good.
Yes, ma'am.
I think this wine is going to get just remarkably, as good as it is, it's going to get better and better and better over the next 20 years. It'll be fun to taste this 20 years from now. Let's make an effort. It's going to be tough.
Okay.
I want to go ahead and set up a plan.
I'm gonna
We
put
can
it on the
try.
calendar, and I'll contact you in 20 years, Brenda and Dwayne.
Okay.
We did-
Jet's saying that y'all are some of his favorite folks, and that y'all put up with each other at church. So
We do.
Yeah, he piggybacked some grapes with ours in the truck. I told him that just riding in the truck with us, his would win a lot more medals this year.
I love that.
So Susan is saying that she's in awe of all that it takes to produce such a great wine, and to know how much that y'all have to know is just, it's amazing and it's astounding. So I mean, just to hear the amount that y'all have to work with and plan ahead for, you know, I mean, y'all are pruning this last week, just, you know, getting ready for harvest coming up. So it's amazing.
I just, I know that Dwayne and Brenda know that I never saw any of this coming quite like this. And it's just been a remarkable experience to be part of having this wine in this glass. And it's just amazing in my life.
Well, we never dreamed of all the things that would happen to us by planting grapes. That was something I was just planting them because that's what I wanted to do. And I wanted to see if we could grow them. And so, but all the things that have come along with it have been a blessing. I mean, we got to serve wine to several people there at the winery. And that was so much fun for us to do that. And then we've got to go to different places or come to the winery and talk to people about our wine and about growing these grapes and everything. And so that's been a blessing to us. It's nice to share what we do and to see that how much they enjoy the wine.
Yeah, when y'all invited us down that time to serve, well, I told Brenda, I said, I don't think anyone will show up. After a while, that whole crew of people came in there and I started serving them a shot of wine and we were serving 7 through 12.
Oh,
And
gosh.
I went down that row of about 30 people and I got back to the first guy and I said, what would you like to try this time? And he said, what did you serve me a while ago? I said, how can I remember? I've served 30 people since I left you. I said, here's a freebie. Let's start over. But it was fun and people started wanting us to sign their glass and sign their bottle. And I said, my word, I'm not used to this, but I really appreciate the people that work in your winery now because that's a lot more exhausting than you realize.
Yes, we really appreciate what they do there because it was hard. By the time we got through, we were really exhausted, but it was fun. We enjoyed every bit of it.
That's wonderful.
So Bobby, let's go to 14, shall we? And then let's compare them. And this was a star. Wow.
Yeah, this 15 is really good.
It really is.
But the nose on 14, whew.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm.
Now the 14, that's when the vines were kind of, regrouping after the 13, the 3 late.
Yes, and it takes
Hail and
it takes so long. When you have a freeze like that, it takes about 3 years for them to come back to full growth. So it's always, it doesn't matter what you do. If you get a hail or anything where the wood is hurt, it just takes a full 3 years for it to get back to where it was.
right.
The reason I think this wine is going to age so well is now here we are another year back, 14, but still wonderfully intense fruit. I mean, this seems like a very youthful wine. And so it's going to take all these components of minerality and fruit and it's going to get wonderfully complex in another decade.
Yeah.
Boy.
It's so amazing that the fruit is still so prevalent. I mean, it's still right there with you.
Yeah. So this was in barrel for 2 years, and it's been in bottle for 5 years or
Yeah.
6, on 6, and it's not losing anything.
No, it's not at all.
It's kind of, I guess what they call aging it well.
Yes. Yeah, it's definitely aging well.
Yeah, this actually in 14 didn't break bud till April 14th was when it started breaking bud.
Uh-huh. And harvested when, Dwayne?
It was harvested somewhere around the first week in September.
Uh-huh. Was it a hotter year?
Last entry I have on our notes is that the bricks were 23.2. This was on August 27, and we still had too many green seeds. So I imagine it was the next week that we harvested. So it would have been the first week of September.
Yeah. Wow.
This year we
Most of
didn't
these-
get very rain, did we?
Yeah, we got 2.2.
Oh, yes, we got rain. We get, it's so nice when you get rain. It helps.
Yeah.
And out here, usually we get a rainfall of about 15 inches is average for our area of rainfall for the year.
Wow.
So it's not very much, really.
But it's like the guy said to the old farmer, I can't believe it rained 16 inches a year out here. And the farmer said, you would if you was here the day it came.
Yep. Yeah.
We did have a huge rain of that size in 2004. I mean, we were covered in water everywhere. I'd
Wow.
never seen so much rain.
Uh-huh.
It was coming in my door and but it filled up all our, we have caliche pits out here and it was filling those up. It was like they were a lake.
I think we had 10 inches that week. So
Yeah,
but
it was a lot of rain.
Wow. So you got a lot of the percentage out of the way in that 1 week.
Yeah.
yeah, I've never seen it. Pure, clear water ran out of the pastures for 3 days. You know, it was so much water, it just kept oozing out, but it wasn't dirty water. It was just pretty clear.
It was nice and clear. It was pretty,
Wow.
but
But we lost our cotton crop in that hailstorm though. So that came, the last one that came. So,
Right.
and we weren't in the grape business then. So
no, that's right. We weren't in the grape business, so. But it was a huge rain.
Wow. And when did y'all meet
feel like
with Dr.
I'm
Becker?
sorry. Do you
When
feel like
the
the
what?
summer's getting hotter? I'm sorry, pardon me.
Oh, sorry. Yes, sir?
go ahead.
Do we get, he said, are we feeling like the summers are getting hotter?
It's hard to say. They may, we're in a drought right now. I think that's affecting things more than anything. I don't know whether it's just part of our normal cycle or not, you know. I keep hearing that, you know, some of the classes that you take, they say it's going to get so warm that we can't grow grapes, but so far we haven't seen that here.
Wow. Wow. Well, I mean, with that freeze that happened this last year, that was that was something.
It was, yes.
In 13, we had four weeks in a row. Every Thursday it froze. The last 3 weeks of May and the first week of, April, last 3 weeks of April and the first week of May. Every Thursday, bang, 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 we had a freeze, and that's what wiped out the 13 crop. We didn't harvest a thing.
Wow.
Dwayne,
I don't think many.
I'm sorry. I was gonna say, it snowed May
Go
3rd.
ahead.
It snowed May 3rd in 2013 in Fredericksburg. Snowed May 3rd.
Is
Really?
that,
Yeah.
well, that's when it got us, finished everything off we had left, so.
Wow. So as soon as it was done up there, you sent it down to us.
Well, you know, when something like that happens out in the vineyard, you just kind of let the vineyard go. I mean, it gets to do whatever it wants to. It gets to make all the vines it wants. It gets to just grow and grow and grow. And we just that's what we did. We just let it go and do its own thing and not try to tame it, I guess, but it grew that year. So we had some more spurs than we did. Had more spurs than we had in the past.
Wow.
What you have a favorite wine, Bobby, of these three? That's hard.
Yeah, one more taste of this 14. I'm like, I don't know. I think I think I'm leaning more towards the 15 myself.
Well, that's what I'm leaning towards, Bobby.
Yeah.
That's always been one of my favorites.
Yeah, if you go back to the 15 and kind of
It's got a little, yeah, it's different. It's different than the 14. The taste is.
I think they're wonderful, beautiful. Wow.
How about
Are
you?
y'all seeing,
Yes.
are y'all seeing a lot, any variation in that when you have the tasting rooms and feature our wine, do you see variation from one year to the other very much, or is it pretty well always even across the board as far as which variety the people like the best?
Bobby, you answer that. Yeah.
It's pretty consistent. I mean, there's it's almost like a almost cult following that family members, like they'll be 50-50. Some people will be like, this is the jet cab, person, and this is the Canada cab person. And it's usually pretty consistent with that. So they'll be like, you know what, I want our Canada family cab. That's our favorite. That's our go-to. That's everything that we'll do. So it's pretty consistent across the board when people come in that we showcase both, and then they'll say, you know what, we like, lean to this Canada family cab more than anything else. And it's really cool to be able to showcase the difference between these the Cabernet. I guess it's what, 15 miles apart. Y'all are about 15 miles apart from each other.
About that.
Totally different terroir.
And completely.
But my question was on our wines. If you're featuring all three of ours, do you see much variation in the years that people pick as their favorite out of, say you're doing three of our wines down in the basement?
Right.
Is there a lot of variation, or do they just pick one year? That was my question.
Yeah, there kind of is. I mean, it's with those three vintages. I mean, it will vary a lot. I mean, it depends. Each different person has their own personal, preferences.
Everybody has their own special taste that they like. Yeah.
Exactly. I personally don't try to say, hey, this is what, I like, you should, steer, towards this one. I say, my personal preference is this, but whatever you like, that's where you should go. So some people will go towards the younger wines because they can taste a little bit more of the fruit. And then some people go towards the older because it's just kind of a little bit more balanced out. It just had a little bit more time to mellow out a little bit. But yeah, no, it's pretty, it varies. It does vary.
Okay.
Brenda, Dwayne, I want to ask you where your families came from. How long have they been out in that region of Texas, and when did they start farming out there?
We moved here to Plains in 1956. I was 9 years old. Now you know how old I am. But we have lived here ever since. And my dad was a cotton farmer. He was a farmer. He loved to farm. And we worked out in the field. I mean, I worked out there and pulled cotton, and I hoed cotton. So anyway, but Dad was, he's got some English background and he has some Dutch background. Now my mother, she was German. She was full-blood German. And so she came from Haskell, was where she was born. She was born out there on the farm in Haskell. And so I have a lot of German heritage there.
Well, her dad was from Claremont, but
yeah,
the thing that impressed me about Brenda when I met her and started dating her was she told me she had hoed cotton. She just forgot to tell me she was never going to hoe again.
But
Friend of my mother, I grew up here, my mother talking about hoeing cotton, when she was growing up. It's not easy. I mean,
No, especially when you got out here, we had the blue weeds. And they were just a little weed that was blue, but there was tons of them always. And then we had to hoe in the rock, and that just made it twice as hard, So it was just, that was the way it was. But I got to pick cotton, and I got to get back on the back of the trailer and put the cotton in the back of the trailer and help Daddy with whatever he needed me to do. So I didn't drive a tractor. Mother wouldn't let us girls drive a tractor. That was one thing she did not want us to do. And so we didn't drive a tractor, but my brother did. He did a lot of tractor driving.
That was very traumatic for me because when I was a young little boy, because Mother one day kicked me off of her cotton sack and told me I was too big to ride back there anymore.
wow. That's
boy,
She'd drag it down the road behind them. I don't know if you've ever seen them picking cotton with dragging that cotton sack behind them.
oh boy. Ooh. And so, Dwayne, where'd your family come from?
I was raised, my folks have always raised around Clyde, Texas. So my grandmother lived in Abilene, and I was raised at Clyde, just east of Abilene. And
Sure.
I had gone to A&M and just graduated, and a friend introduced me to Brenda. She was at McMurray, just fixed to graduate. So we decided to wait a year and get married after 3 months. But I was fixing to be drafted, and the Vietnam War was going on. And I told her, well, if I go to Vietnam and get killed, we will never get to know each other. Let's just go ahead and get married. So we got married 3 months after we first met, and that's lasted 53 years so far.
wow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
It's been a fun ride.
and still on the journey, enjoying the journey.
Yes, we still have a journey to go.
That's amazing. It's amazing.
She's the one that got us into the grapes. And after she worked out here the first year, she looked at me one day and said, I used to think you just goofed around out here while I was teaching, but you really weren't, don't you?
Yeah. That's hard work. Hard work. That's amazing. It's beautiful. So, Dr. Becker, what would you pair with these wines?
Gosh, I love the French dishes with these. I love beef bourguignon. I love coca vine. Any of those, I think there's something savory in those dishes, which is delicate, savory touch. It's not like barbecue. It's not like jalapeno, but it really matches these Bordeaux style wines, and that's always my pick.
Oh yeah, no, I have to agree with that. I mean, that's I've been saying those pretty frequently the last few weeks. But yeah, those are great. Brenda, one last question I wanted to ask you. I hear that you sing to the vines. Is there
no.
a particular song that you sing to the vines?
Yeah, we were being interviewed by a little reporter, and she was asking why our grapes are so good. And so I told her all about the terroir and what we do that makes them so good. And then I finished, I said, but don't tell anyone, but my wife comes and sings at night to them. And she said, well, what does she sing? And I said, Tiny Bubbles in the Wine. What do you think? God knows so.
Wow.
The reason I know that song so well is because when I was in basic training in California, well, my first sergeant was a Hawaiian, and every morning he made all of us guys before physical training sing Tiny Bubbles in the Wine to him. So
That's
wow.
amazing.
But it is a good song. It really is a good song.
I'll have to look that one up. I'm out to.
You need to, because it's really neat.
That's so cool.
So Bobby, what's on for next week on our tasting?
Next week, so this week we did the vertical of the Canada. So next week it's going to be the vertical of Jet
Oh,
Wilmot.
okay, we'll have to tune in for that one.
I'll do it.
It's going to be a doozy. It's going to be a fun one. So we're going to do the, it's going to be 15, 16, and 17 of the Wilmot.
Oh, okay.
So really excited about those. And I'm very privileged and honored to have y'all on this evening and to share with our Facebook family and friends. Thank you so much for taking time out of y'all's busy schedule. I know y'all have a lot on your plate, and really appreciate all the hard work that you put into these amazing wines that we can be able to produce to share with all these amazing people that we get to serve day in and day out. But I want to wish everybody a great evening out there in Facebook land. If y'all are in the area, please come by and visit us. And here's to great wine, great health, and everybody have a great evening tonight. Thanks again, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. We enjoyed it.